So, we're gonna begin with our series, and I really want you to settle down. This series I prepared for the next 8 weeks. Now, why 8 weeks? Well, I like the number 8, and we cannot also have a series of topic that would just kind of like people would not know what they're gonna get into. So, I actually created a topic every week since I've started having this live series. So I really want to focus on the art of network marketing principles, especially on closing, because everything is really about closing. When we speak of closing, it's really closing the sale, okay? And without closing the sale, then we walk out empty-handed. So in terms of, hi Jim, Papa Bernie, Guten Tag. So conviction, close with conviction. So what is conviction? Because this is really what closes the sale. It's conviction. Okay, product does not close the sale. Normally, and the right why network marketing is so wonderful and beautiful, because we have talking products. Meaning, I'm not saying that the products are talking, but you have individual distributor that talks about the products, and they talk about the experiences with their products, how the products affected them in terms of their use, and so they talk about it, and this is really what closes why people would want to even try that product, because they hear the amazing experience you had with a particular product. Okay, the amount, the price really doesn't matter. A product becomes very expensive when a person doesn't really know what the value of that product would be as far as is concerned, as far as its experience. And so this is where it's so important for you to really have the experience of the products or the company or the business plan that you're going to be presenting to anyone. And you got to present it with conviction. Okay, I'm going to use this word again and again. Conviction. What is conviction? Conviction is this strong belief in something that you have. You're excited about something, and so you're so convinced, you're in believing that this benefited you in your experience, and if others would actually if you share this with others, your conviction is that they would also benefit, that their life would improve because of this. And that must be your conviction. So selling becomes very easy. Closing becomes very easy because your conviction would actually close the sale. Your conviction would actually close the deal. Because see, your passion, right, about that subject matter, your passion about the business, your passion about the product, whatever you're selling, right? You have to be passionate about it, because without that passion, people would not... Like, what's the value? I don't understand what you're doing. So in fact, they see the excitement you give them is really what closes the sale. So that's really very important. And how do I create a strong conviction? Just like today, for me to be able to sit down with you and talk with you right now, see, I need to have some form of conviction that I'm sharing you something that would be valuable for you. Or else I would be, kind of like shy and not knowing, like, in fact, I'm talking to a camera right now. I don't even see all of you. But I'm having this energy, this passionate energy, because I'm excited, right? I have this conviction that what I will be sharing with you would actually benefit you. And it's a very valuable thing in your lives. Okay, so that's one thing. So how do I develop a strong conviction? It's very simple. So a conviction must be rooted upon a strong belief. It must be rooted upon the truth. It must be rooted upon integrity. So just like, like a tree can never bear a fruit, right? Meaning a tree cannot even grow upward unless the roots grow downward. In fact, how big the tree you see outside, that's how that's how spread the roots also under. And the thing is, see, the rooting of the tree is more difficult, and it's doing it underground while nobody is looking. We don't get to see what's going on with the roots. And they had to penetrate dirt. They had to penetrate rocks. They had to penetrate. They have to live in this condition where it's just so dark, meaning you do all of the work needed for you to rise above. That's the tree. The tree needs to do all the work under before it could actually rise above. So similarly, when we speak of conviction and the rising of someone, you're rising into someone, your newer version. For that to take place, you must also first root yourself under. And by rooting yourself, that's how you get to rise. So people try to climb. They try to climb. They want to put themselves in a position of power, in a position of influence, without doing the underground work of rooting. So this is the mistake a lot of people are making. So when we speak of conviction, we're actually speaking about someone who's totally rooted into his business. He's totally rooted. His heart is 100% in what he is doing. He's completely convinced that what I'm doing is absolute 100% would be beneficial for the masses. Now, this is the passion I have. Why do I have this passion? Because I know business is all about solving a problem. And when you have that solution and you know you're totally convinced that this solution will solve this problem, and not solve problem, but you've already actually experienced that your solution worked with so many millions of people who practice, who took the process into accepting the solution you offered and actually became very successful. So my conviction is just like, it's 100% because I know it worked. It worked with me. It worked with others. So what is that conviction I have with network marketing principle? Is that we have, listen to this, guys, and stop scrolling. We have the solution to the biggest problem in the planet. And what is the biggest problem in the planet? Poverty. And network marketing, the business, right, is the solution to poverty. Why? Because we are offering financial freedom. Now, some of you, if it was your first time, like I was saying, this would be for newly signed up. The reason you sign up, the reason your upline presented to you the business and you saw some opportunity, the reason you sign up because you saw an opportunity, a chance for you to lift yourself from poverty to financial freedom. So this is your ticket. That's why you got convinced. And the reason you got convinced because you saw your upline, right? You heard his story or her story where he was previously, also in your situation. And now he is not because of the process, because of the plan, the business plan, the products that took him out of that. But see, there's a lot of work underground there. Of course, sometimes we basically just see what is so apparent in front of us. We see the success in front of us. But the mango tree did not just bear fruit the first day or the first month. It went through a deep rooting of growth before that takes place. So that's why I have this thing before that there's always, and I was so clear with this before when I was starting, that my season for the beginners, right now, I'm in the season of planting the seed of success. And planting the seed of success, I have to be consistently watering the seed of success because this seed I got from someone who has grown the tree successfully. And all I have to do is also plant this seed, in myself, plant this seed in my mindset. And I constantly water it by attending trainings, by putting my conviction. And as this tree grows, as this seed grows downward first, okay, it's going to start rooting itself downwards. It needs the support, which is your regular watering, and the support it needs also, you have to uproot all these grasses that would grow, that are like, I call it negative weeds, that would grow beside the tree that you planted. There's going to be weeds growing on the side, which is not good for the plant. And what are the seeds? The seeds of negative thoughts, the seeds of people telling you this is not going to happen, the seed of all of this dream stealers that would grow there, that would overtake your plant even before the plant could grow. And so when we speak of rooting before you rise, okay, there's a whole process. And I love the example of a tree, because I used to be a farm. I lived in the jungle when I was a kid, and I planted many trees. And that's how we were taught. When you plant a tree, you gotta, every day, you gotta look at the tree. You gotta water it. You gotta patiently, and you're not seeing anything happening in the beginning. In the beginning, you don't see the growth up. And you don't even see the growth under of the roots. That's the whole thing about this. That's why most people, they don't have the patience to wait. And because they don't have the patience to wait, they stop watering and they go, what's the point? I don't see any growth. They don't understand that the growth is happening under, but they cannot see it. And this is where believing, and I repeat this again and again, believing is the key. Right? Most people say, oh, I want to see first. I want to see first the fruit before I believe. No. It doesn't happen like that. You got to first believe that the process is like this. Right? Just like when you see a seed. Would you believe that inside this seed, this tiny small seed of a mango, there's actually a big tree inside of it? And it's just a question of a process before this tree would grow and become a huge mango tree that would start bearing fruits. It's a process. And that belief you must have. And that is the conviction I'm talking about. Without that conviction, what are you going to tell people? Nothing. Because you don't even believe in what you're doing. So how could you close? In fact, closing means, right? The minute you have conviction, closing is nothing. Because the beginning of closing is conviction. Right? The first person you need to close, the first person you need to convince is yourself. And unless you're convinced, completely convinced, I'm not talking about having even a little doubt, no doubt at all. You gotta be 100%, 100,000% convinced that this process to be successful would actually happen. All I have to do is do the work. The work, right? But it begins with this strong conviction. And with that strong conviction, you will wake up every morning, no matter what. You will wake up. You'll do the things that it takes because you believe. You could already see it. And this is where the vision, people who has a vision, they could actually see. They see a seed. They don't just see a seed. They see the tree with so many fruits, ripe fruits. That's what they see. They don't see the seed. When I see something, when I see a product, when I see a business, I look at the potential of it down the road, not today. When I see a person, when I sign up a person, I don't see a person in his shorts. I remember when my partner met with me, I was wearing shorts. But I was lucky. He didn't see me, the guy in shorts. He saw me, what I will be in 5 years, what I will be in 10 years. That's what he saw. And that was his conviction to convince me to do this business. So our eyes is so bad. That's why we should never be judging. Our eyes is so bad in judging who will be successful in this business. right? Our eyes could not even see, doesn't even believe in ourselves. And that's really the problem of most people in the world, is that they don't even believe in themselves. Now that I cannot help you with, because you have to believe in yourself. Now how do I develop the belief in myself? Right? That's something also you have to work on, work with. You write it down. You don't have this belief. I want to believe in myself. Start writing it down. I believe in myself. I believe in myself. You gotta convince even your mind that you truly believe in yourself, or else why would others believe in you? If you don't believe in yourself, then you would not have that conviction, basically, to close. So a tree without a root would never rise. So a person without conviction would never be successful. As simple as that. So conviction is the root. Conviction is our root for us to rise. That is a root for us to rise. Simple as that. And without that, we can never be successful. So I would close with this. I don't want to stay so long because I know you cannot even stay too long. You keep on scrolling and scrolling, checking what's in there. But I'm giving you information right now. That's all I could give you is information, right? If you're interested to know how this is done, please DM me. You know where to reach me. Follow me on Instagram, because I'll be coming up with more programs and series so that I could help you build your business, whatever your business is. It doesn't matter, because I'm teaching you the actual mindset of how you could be successful. The business doesn't matter. Of course it matters in terms of your business must be scalable. And I know this is the business, and I'm focusing those people who are doing the same business I did 30 years ago, and I'm still doing today, because it's such an amazing business, because it gives you growth, not just physically, not just financially, but it gives you financial freedom, growth, and this is what we were going to be having. So I would see you again next week for our another series of network marketing principles, the art of closing, based on conviction. So I'll see you again, guys. Namaste, salam alaikum to all of you. I won't stay too long. I love you all. Namaste.